All right, sitar, the mysterious instrument and how it changed my life. Just so that it's not just all really abstract and you're imagining about random brown people, I have some pictures I'm going to pass out. This is of Nalini Vinayak, who is 60 years old, and she's my guru, who I take lessons from. She lives in Tallahassee. She's really sweet, super awesome. It's like, she's like my grandma, but nicer. And then because she's really busy, this is her eldest student, Liesl Haldane, who's someone else that I'm going to reference that I've learned all this mess from. And she went to Florida State. She's an undergraduate. I don't remember, but her name is Liesl. She's in her early 30s. Really fun. This picture is of a really awkward looking instrument called the veena, and this is the predecessor to this. People think that India is like, oh, we made our own guitar, but it's actually a more portable version of this awkward thing. So you can pass that and look at that. All right, as you can see, I have this giant contraption with me. It is called a sitar, and normally you put the emphasis on sitar. Persian set would mean 6. So this is sitar. It sounds a little like this. So last fall, I set out to fulfill a childhood dream and get a little bit more Indian. Because I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, I don't speak Hindi or anything. Hindi as a language was lost with my grandparents. So today I will explain to you the origin and construction of this 20-stringed sitar, what kind of music it's used for, and how learning it has benefited my life in many ways. Every instrument has their own stringed instruments. Venezuela has the cuatro, Alabama has the banjo. I don't actually know what the banjo is in that too. The sitar here, Spanish guitars, right? Spain, steel guitars in Europe and in the United States. Like there is this different size stringed instrument for everyone, promise you. All right, and learning how to play an instrument, strings or not, violin, cello, if I name them all, I'm gonna run out of time. To learn that skill and art, it's rewarding and it seasons with time because you always get better. It's not like calculus or pre-calculus where you forget it and never use it. And you can enjoy it by yourself or with groups. So when I was 13 years old, I kind of realized that I sucked at everything except being a student. So I decided to play electric guitar. Fast forward 10 years, and I teach guitar. I've had tons of teachers. I was in the College of Music for a while. I also teach and play piano and vocal as well. And my recent accomplishment is that I'm teaching electric bass. I just got an electric bass and I'm teaching how to funk and slap and R&B and everything else, and jazz. My guru is Nalini, I already told you about her. And Liesl, right? Okay, so with this limited time, I'm going to give you an overview of the sitar and how learning it has been really good for me. According to David Courtney and Srinivas Kumundari, the sitar is extremely old. It is the most formative years of its construction were in the 13th and 16th centuries. Since the 18th century, the design has been pretty much unchanged, except adding a few more strings. It got a little bit more complicated. I think as metals got stronger, and it could hold the pitch better, it just add more strings, like let's do more. This thing is completely handmade. It is very time consuming to make. This pumpkin is dried and grown. Well, before it's dried, it has to be grown from a seed. And then it becomes this thing, and they dry it, they cut it, they put some bracing on the inside, some wood pieces, and they color it. They inlay this old mahogany, and all this wood, this whole tall neck part, all this mahogany is really, really old, because if it wasn't old, it would bend and not be any good. The carvings are all hand done by an Indian man in a shop in Miraj, India. Those are grape leaves. Sitars in the past 20 years have 6 leaves on the back. And the more decorative is just kind of a prestige thing. It's kind of like shoes. You have a question?
Oh, no.
Oh. All right, so the playing style of Indian music, it's not like it's just one thing. It's kind of like mixing together Michael Jackson, Dolly Parton, Aretha Franklin, and Beethoven. Like, oh, that's all one people, but it's not. The music originates even from thousands of years ago from the Vedic scriptures, those of you who know about the Vedic things, and so the Vedic chants, I actually am learning some of those. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo. Those are all like from the Bhagavad Gita, right? And I'm learning that from my guru because they put those words to songs, and we're still playing them in 2012. So awesome. There's tons of parts. These are made of bone. This is made of mahogany. This is all hand-drawn and inked calligraphy, brass frets, friction pegs. These are carved in lotus flowers. Those are fancy. I could have gotten a simpler sitar, but I wanted a fancy one. I just wanted the flowers, because otherwise it's a spiral, but I don't know. So, I'm going to play for you a little bit. Indian music is not about chords and stuff. It's about the drone, which is this. There we go. That note. Yogis, anybody do yoga? You have to chant some of the hardcore yogis, because that's where it came from. They go Om first, and you have to breathe and you have to feel it resonate. Very meditational. That's one of the aspects of Indian music. So it's all about the drone, and instead of having chords and stuff, you just put a melody on top. And in India, the most respected instrument is the human voice. So we bend, and we bend lots of notes, and we love to bend notes. No. In India, you use vocal music is the ideal. So you want to imitate the human voice. It can be softer, it can be louder, it can be tender. You know, mothers sing to their children. We sing war chants to pump ourselves up before we kill people. Okay? All of that is here. And I hope to empower you to learn your own instrument. It's really fun. I've only been playing for 3 months. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation.